Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to City Skylines. Now, yeah, I mean, that's what you call an introduction, right? I mean, the actual sting is called Need to Get Drunk to Get Out of the Funk. So, yeah, that's kind of what you feel like some days, I suppose. Anyhow, yeah, so I've been off cities for a wee while. As you can see in the background, this is my Sunken Prison that we are starting. I did put pictures out there on various different social medias such as Reddit and Instagram and Twitter, and the response has been brilliant. People asking questions, telling me it was brilliant. So obviously I do videos, and so I wanted to obviously show it, but I've done it as a speed build for you guys. It did take me a while, because even though at the beginning you could see I dismantled what was the old prison that I originally built, it just looked too small, and you know, I woke up in the morning, I was just like, yeah, no, it needs to be bigger, it needs to be better. So demolished it, and as you can see, we started again, and I put it, for the moment, it's just off the farms. You'll see as the video progresses, it moves, it swiftly moves. I did forget to press record, like I do sometimes, or I thought I've pressed it and it hasn't done it. Yeah, it is what it is. But the wonderful joys of the Move It tool, I pick its ass up and shift it way across into Timbuktu and set it all, and I relayed, terraformed all the floor so it was all nice and flat, and then I put it in as a whole with the Move It tool, and then just press down. Now obviously I know quite a few console players watch me as well, and it is very possible, as you well know, to do that kind of thing on console. All you would have to do is terraform as normal, lay your roads in, terraform back up to the edge of your roads, fill it with water, and then just lay your key, and then just drain the water out. It will be very, very simple to do, but obviously, you know, being on PC now, I get the wonderful adage of having key and a key and move it and stuff like that. And I would like to say it made the process a bit easier, but at times it felt like it was just more hassle. And since AMD have updated the drivers and they've updated software now on Adrenaline 2020, I've been having issues with frames per second just dropping right off, and yeah, we can't figure that out. Anyhow, I digress. So as you can see here, we're putting in a car park and trying to get it lined up and get it perfect. So I've got the bays in. Obviously I want to disable bays as well as electric parking bays, because I have both types of vehicles. Honestly, putting car parks in is brilliant. I'm seeing them being used as well. I mean, it's the first time I've actually done car parks was on this, and I mean, I'd done them on console, but they're so hard to, well, not hard, just long, time consuming to get it right. And then, you know, you delete half the road off like I do there, because I'm a clown. And Yeah, on console it's just so time consuming because you've got to wait for the building to spawn when you're using the green cities to make it right, and on this, honestly, you can just do it in a wanna. As you can see here, I'm using the surface painter. I made it all tarmac, well, concrete, shall I say, and I laid the stuff in, and then I look at it and I'm like, that's really grey. Like, everything is grey. It even though it looks cool, it just it looked too concrete. Yeah, too concrete. So yeah, I had to change it, and obviously I saved it there just because I was saving as we were going along, because I've seen a couple of people having issues where saves weren't loading and stuff like that, and I didn't want that to happen to me. So I do save it quite a lot during this build, and I ended up making maybe I think 2 or 3 more. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with quite a lot of people. I think it's just one of them things, I suppose. There's quite a lot of things happening. Right, so as you can see, digressing again, just mumbling and rambling. Football pitch, yes, I'm English, so to everybody else, soccer, whatever you like to call it, we get a football pitch in. Actually, a wonderful asset that I found on the workshop, and it comes with loads of different styles of football pitches, and I like this one because when I revert it back to taking all the concrete away and you're left with the pitch, that the grass looks old and worn and withered, and honestly I thought that was it just looked fantastic. It was just a cool little touch, whereas obviously it won't be maintained as well in a prison as it would be, say for instance, a kid's school or whatever, or a sports centre, and I think it came out looking pretty neat, pretty tickety-boo, in all honesty. And yeah, as you can see, I was looking through it there, right by the road at the moment. We do move it eventually. So this is me right now, just about to start looking on Find It. Prisons come with garbage, they need garbage and stuff like that, and we need garbage in. They need somewhere to put the dead bodies. That's a joke, not dead bodies, just body parts. So so I find a couple of trash cans, recycling and whatnot, and get them just put onto the side. In fact, I think I'll have to go back to the prison at some point and just double check that them couple of little props there could still be over by the forestry area, and I'm not 100% sure if they moved along or if they did move along. I did think about covering the floor with tiles, and then I looked and then I thought, nah, and then electricity, and then I was getting that in, and I was looking at it, and I'm here just thinking while I'm putting these in, going, nah, I don't know if I want it here, and I'm watering it, and I'm like, do I want it here? I don't know. It just looks too clunky, and now I start to really look at it, and I'm not happy with how the road layout is, and I know what I want to sort of plan and where I want it to get to. So yeah, I just start grabbing and moving, and it's just all a bit of a pain, really. It all this part here, when we start moving over, which will be coming up shortly, it makes it so much easier. And at one point I did feel like I was just going to end up destroying it all and starting again from scratch, which not is normally something I would do, but it doesn't help when you do stuff like that. It just kind of feels like you're giving up, and I mean, I don't like to do that. I like to work and figure things out, and I'll happily show my mistakes. I mean, this is obviously still all a learning curve to me. A lot of people, it's still a learning curve regarding whether it be the game. I mean, I've been playing this game over 12 months, but on PC, yeah, I've been playing it for like 2 months at best. And when you get thrown the ability of using mountains of different types of mods and different types of assets, and you've got to be very careful of how much you want to use. I mean, my PC's, semi-decent, but at the end of the day, if I go mental, it'll just stop and not want to work altogether, because you're just using assets and mods for using them sake. And there's been a couple of assets that loaded on that are missing, so I need to figure out which ones they are and then get them took off. And I had a look at a couple of intersections that were on that haven't come through because they're now missing and they need took back off and unsubscribed from. So yeah, I mean, also just be aware, guys. I know a lot of yous are, I know some still aren't. There's some people who's just coming over onto the PC just like me, and yeah, just be aware. The workshop can take your life. You're just staring at it, looking at all the amount of stuff that's in there, and yeah, it can be overwhelming. And you've got to obviously, you check out basically all the top people who on YouTube and what they use if they show their creations, such as Biffa, and you see YouTube videos, the best mods and assets and stuff like that. Always take them into account, because they will help you massively, and they've helped me hugely. And don't use them all at once, because it will just melt your PC. Just be careful the amount you're putting in. And there's a tree, just the one single tree that's still there, and I do think that actually came with us when we moved over to our new area. So now you can see I'm looking at trying to get in just different like office stuff, and I start looking at police stations and fire stations and all that kind of stuff needs to be put in, because obviously it's a prison, so it's going to have all that anyhow, and it needs, or you would like to think most of them have their own fire and prison, well at least mine will anyhow. And this is me trying to get the road moved, and then realising, what am I not doing? What am I selecting? What is wrong? Why can't I do this? And being an absolute clown. Now I start thinking that, I'm changing roads here and there and laying them in, and I need to get the fence. Trying to find the fence. That find it tool, honestly, it's absolutely fantastic. I noticed that I couldn't just connect them up, so I had to build the fence just off, just so I could get enough to select it, and then I had to move it in manually. It wouldn't find the node, and I think that's maybe because it's a part of the road itself. It's not a fence that I put in. So yeah, that was, I didn't know that was going to be the case, but anyhow, it was no biggie really. It was just quickly select, move it and get it joined up, so that was not an issue whatsoever. Here you can see I'm putting in the fire station, and I have a look and see what type of police station I wanted. If I wanted a small, just a communal, or did I want to go big. I ended up picking the actual police station, the fairly big one, because I thought, it's a prison, they're going to need a police station. And then I move it to the other end, and this is where I start putting in offices and stuff like that. I thought they were going to be just ploppable offices that would just be there straight away, but nope, apparently not. So when they start to build up, they quickly disappear, and demolish pretty much straight away, which was kind of a surprise. I just looked at it and thought, well, there's 10 minutes, I won't get back. And then we move on. Yeah, it is what it is, I suppose, right? Electricity, again, a bugbear. I am thinking about getting the underground hidden electric thing that you can get on the workshop, or maybe not. I mean, you build enough stuff in the right places, it spreads, and then you can get rid of your power lines anyhow. So we'll just wait and see how that goes. I think a couple of people have had issues with it in the past, for different reasons. That I think just, it clashes with maybe other things, so I wasn't going out my way. Yeah, so as you can see here, I'm looking at these offices now, and I'm doing the exact same thing, thinking, right, so now I've zoned it. If I put these in, will it build up or will it demolish them again? And bish bash bosh, in we go. And yeah, I mean, it worked a treat. They got in, and I was quite happy with it. I was, and then I wasn't at all. It's too grey, as you can see. It needed more. It just looked empty, and yeah, there was no real life to it. I mean, I kind of want, prisoners not to be happy, and this is me using the smiley face tool to get rid of all the concrete. Yeah, let's smile, 'cause that's what we want. We want to smile. Now, yes, obviously the police, the watchtowers for the prison, and I put them down in between the offices, as you can see, just to make it, because it's all part of that structure and that area that, they're going to need it. And when I do move it, it does become maximum security. By a long, long way, maximum security, when they've got a 30-foot wall in front of them. A little bit of decoration here and there, and I'm like, yeah, put some path in. Yeah, I'm liking this. It's looking alright. I can get away with this. This isn't that bad. Not at all. Mr. Grant, you've done a fantastic job. Let's save it. Yeah, let's crack on. And boom, we're in a hole. And yeah, in a giant hole with a lot of things that have changed. We've got a massive load of blocks, prison blocks at the back there. We've got the two at the front, and we've got the main building in the middle. Now it's a case of just rejigging things and moving things about, making the fence a bit more, closer to the road and whatnot, and just lining it up and straightening it off a bit here and there, just because you can't leave things on an angle. They just look naff. And when you get so focused into something, you want to make it right. And I did in some areas on console go finicky and stuff, but not to this degree. And honestly, it is all down to the mods and the assets that the game provides. It really is. Just for the simple fact that I would never think about doing any of that on console, like to this in depth. I mean, yeah, you can only do so much, we know that, but at the same time, I don't know, it felt like a case of just getting it done and moving on to the next thing. Whereas this, I called this a City of Hope for a reason. I mean, well, the prison is called Hope Prison, but I mean, it should be called No Hope Prison, really. I wanted to take my time with this, but not take my time as much to where it feels like I'm taking the piss, if that makes sense. Here we go with the teardrop monument, which is very fitting to the inmates who are now living here, and I give them a kiddies park, so when their mothers or fathers or grandparents or Uncle John next door or whatever takes them to see whoever's in prison, they can they can have a play on the park, which is a nice little touch. There isn't many prisons that have a children's park here. So now you see us putting in football sheds, obviously for them to store equipment and stuff like that. I felt like it, I feel it needed that kind of a touch. that little extra something to go in. I'm just looking around now. I'm figuring out, right, let's just get on with it. Let's get the key wall started. So I build up the walls, the terraform, and get it leveled off, and they're all nicely sunken in now and making it all smooth. And then we get out the key wall. Just before I put the key wall in, I build a little alleyway, and I do some finishing touches off, because I said alleyway, no, a roadway, a road path, and it needed it, to be honest, because how are you going to access the prison? How are you going to access the offices and stuff like that? you know. Anyhow, so the key wall, it wasn't that difficult, because obviously with anarchy being there, but trying to get it right and trying to get it all level, even though everything was, when you've got the joys of having movie and stuff like that, you do look at things a lot more, and you think, I can make this neater, I can make this straighter. And I did that bit back, go right across, and it mapped out brilliantly. And you need to terraform back on areas, as you can see where it dropped down on that top left corner there. I don't know why it sunk, it just did. So then I had to build it back up, and then obviously we take out all the dirt, so you can just see a nice clear wall, and it makes it really defined that these people are now in what looks like a 30-foot hole. And that was the whole point, a sunken prison. It is what it is. It says what it is, and I did say the prison should have been called No Hope, because obviously, it's like Fort Knox on land, I suppose. Was Fort Knox on land? Yeah, Fort Knox was on land. Alcatraz. Alcatraz was on the island, not land. Still classed as land, I suppose, but anyhow. So yeah, I wanted to get a nice slope road in. I'll probably change the road, and because even when I'm looking back on it here, it does drop, not dramatically, not like a massive insane dropper out like that. It just didn't feel like it was as smooth as I wanted it, like a smooth transition. It was just more like a hump. I'm finishing off here, laying in the key, making it nice and flat. So I then unpause it and realise, oh wow, we need electricity, we need water. So I start laying in some water, because they are going to have their own water source, but for the time being I just connected it up till our main city, and then electricity, I just quickly got that in. Actually, no, I think I left the electricity out because, they didn't need it, to be fair, because it was just basically going to be on pause for a while. So here we are, building another one of my magic roundabouts. I must admit, I do love doing roundabouts. I don't know why, I just feel like I've got a real knack for getting them done. I would like to think that's my little niche in the game, but obviously I've seen people make city of roundabouts and stuff like that, and honestly I think it would just end up being an absolute nightmare for me, even though I like doing them. Once again, you got your one way in, your one way out that I'm starting to put on, and figuring out what kind of roads do I want coming off the other three sections. And I kind of went with a grass road for to start with, and then that all sort of changes at some point, just because do you really want grass roads? I don't think so. It's more like an industrial type area. Yeah, line across properly, Lee. Don't be a clown. and yeah, I mean it starts coming out looking pretty good, and you'll see in the next episode when I start messing with the highway and I finally figured out my junction issues which I was having, which is just off my big junction that I built. I decided to put in two massive trumpets next to each other, going in opposite directions, which you'll see, and I think it actually looks pretty good. Don't know how effective it'll be in working, but we'll soon find out. Right, but that's for someone else anyhow, so yeah, we'll stop that. So you can see in the centre I put in a massive gold world globe, just to make it look aesthetically pleasing, I suppose, more than anything else. And then I noticed that the key isn't level and it's not sitting correctly, so then I'm figuring out how to raise it up without it completely messing everything up, because even though this is only like 30 minutes long, it took a while to get it done. So now I'm thinking, these guys, what else can I give them? I know, another giant fence on top of the key wall. You know, because they've got to climb out of a 30-foot wall, and then when they climb out of a 30-foot wall, they've got to come up to what seems to be like a 10-15-foot fence. The fence, actually, it went in really easy. I had more issues trying to just line little bits up than actually putting this bit in. It went round and followed the curves of the key wall brilliantly, and I just done it so quick. Just like that, just putting it in, and then got out the fabulous movie tool again, and I just curved all the insides of it. See, this is the bit that I struggled with. I don't know why, it just, I still don't, I'm not happy with how this bit joins here. For some reason it's annoying me, so I will go back at some point and figure it out, as Move the Mouse says, fix it later, which is definitely what it will be. I mean, it doesn't come out perfect, the full Sunken Prison, it really doesn't, and obviously there can be touches and made slightly better, which I will go back to, and you know, you'll probably see is during one episode I'll be doing something and then I'll quickly be on there just having a look at it and sorting it out, because you know, you can always make improvements and changes. That's what I love about this game. You know, you're not set to one thing. So as you can see, I'm just using the movie tool there, putting the curves in. Really simple, really easy, and just lining them up. And then, and that's it on this section. Really, it comes out pretty sweet. You know, I'd like to think that the prisoners are kept locked away and they can't get out, because that's the whole point of a prison. You know, last thing we need is a jailbreak. Even though I did see in one of my clips when I was looking through it, there was a man walking a dog in the prison, which was interesting, because I'm more than certain it wasn't a prisoner. This is what I'm talking about here, what I was just saying before about the end. It doesn't look finished, it looks crap, so I probably will put in probably something just to hide it more than anything else. Maybe if I can find two monuments or something like that, something that's not just bushes, you know. If I can get two monuments in there of a certain style, I'm not quite sure what yet, I think that might look pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, it's going to look better than what it just looks unfinished. And I must have spent, God, 10-15 minutes faffing around with it and still not liking it at the end of it. It was just annoying, really annoying. Anyhow, and then yeah, I'll leave it and think, right, let's just crack on. We need roads, where we're going, what we're going to do, how we're going to connect it up to the city. So because I want them to have all sort of their own stuff, you know, a couple of offices, a couple of shops, industry, nothing major and stuff like that. So the feel of it is the working all in that area, and you know they can have day release and they can take them to work and do some industry stuff, or you can take them to the shop and they can do whatever they want in there, that type of style. So I'll get the road in. I use industry road because obviously I want it to be like an industry style area. And I'm thinking, you know, where do I want my roads to go? How close do I want my roads to go? And then I have an ingenious idea of putting a bridge right across the middle. Now, this bridge I would have thought was going to be an utter pain in the backside, and in a sense it was. You know, I raise it up and I can get it on and it looks in, but I'm not happy with it. It just doesn't feel right looking like that. So I just start pulling it across, and then I raise it up to an insane height, as you can see. But it found the perfect level, as you can see on the left where I started. So I just start deleting back and then pulling across, and then it honestly it comes out looking brilliant. So I'll go up again and it does the same thing, but then I find a nice normal bit where it doesn't have the support beams across the top and stuff like that. As you can see, it goes nice and straight, but then I can get a support beams area on the end, and yeah, I just need to line it up, which we do momentarily, where I move all of it and slide it up right into the middle of the car park, because obviously we still want people to use the road, and that'll be putting in pillars for the actual bridge, so it doesn't look like it's floating. It needs to be supported by something, obviously. I mean, yeah, I mean, some people might leave it. People such as myself who are can be quite finicky with stuff like that. You know, we try to put the pillars in. Some people just forget, but I mean, if you're gonna try and make it look semi-right, I suppose, at the same time, right? So yeah, I mean, I just typed in pillar and it came up with a million different types of pillar, and I was like, oh my god, which one the bloody hell do we use here? Because there's just hundreds of them. And I finally figure and find one, realise for some reason it wouldn't go on, but yet when I put it into an area where it was just on grass, for some reason it would sit. So I was like, oh okay, so I'll move it to there, and then I just duplicated it and found a place for it, which is right in the middle, which I think is a good place for it, because it separated. The cars actually don't go anywhere near it, and it worked out a treat, I suppose. I mean, I didn't put that many in. You know, you've got one either end up against the key wall. There's a bit of terraform that you can see come out there when I've done it, and I was like, but it won't go away, so I think it's just going to be something I'll have to leave, but it won't be, because I will come back, because it'll probably end up annoying me for ever if I don't get it sorted. And then yeah, it's just lining the road up. For some reason, even though it seemed really easy to do and very simple, I just kept on having little fights with it for no reason. I felt like I was just fighting with myself for no reason. But we get them in, and it looks tickety-boo. It looks really sweet. Now I'm looking at this bit, and I keep on seeing the cars, if you can make it out. They were jumping, and I was like, oh no, I'm not having this. I've seen quite a few people have this issue. I'm not having flying cars either and everywhere. And you know, I've seen some people with trains, when the trains are flying 40 foot in the air, and you're just like, oh my word, what's going on? Why does this happen? And it finally happened to me. So yeah, I go back in and I delete some roads, I press play a little, see what happens, put back in the car park, press play, see what they're doing, and a couple of times they sink, one or two jump, and I finally get it sorted, and it doesn't do it anymore, or it does it a lot less. It's not as crazy as it was, I suppose that's how to put it. But I did have issues here, because when you see how the road joins to the car park, in theory I should have had the junction there right on the car park, which I didn't, and that's a slight mistake from my part, but we get it sorted in the end, and that's the main thing. Right guys, we are actually going to be coming up to the end of the episode now. As you can see, there's a little time lapse here of the area just being built up, just little bits that I put in. They've got the water and electricity and whatnot, and that's pretty much it guys for this episode. So if you like what you saw, please like and subscribe to the channel, and comment, please leave them, they are much appreciated. And yeah, I think it looks tickety boo. Thank you very much. Ta-ta for now.